mean, filmmakers are very vulnerable people. We are very easily like, when galis come our way, we just want to crawl under the table and cry. Wonkarva is a huge influence to me. When I was younger, I had the opportunity to go to Hong Kong once. So first thing I did, I said I want to go to Chungking Mansion. Even if I call myself a feminist, I'm a bit of a messy feminist. Like, I see myself making mistakes. I see myself saying, why did I respond like this about something? There's a lot of work that I still need to do on myself.
First of all, how was the journey to Cannes? And it's not your first time at Cannes, so did the previous experiences help in showcasing the film there? Like, did you learn anything from your previous experiences?
My previous experience was very different from this because it was in a section called Director's Fortnight, which is not the main competition, it's a sidebar. So, and it was a COVID year, so it was not this like dhamal that was there, it was very mellow camp. And before that, my student film was there. And the student film, so you're just like wide-eyed and just taking it all in, and you know that feeling. So this time I was much more nervous, and because I have seen films in that hall that they have over there, which is called the Salle Lumiere, and it's like everybody is always so, you know, it's so many great films are shown there that you feel all the pressure. So that day I was like very nervous, but my actresses and the crew were there, so that just took a little edge off because
You guys look like you're having a blast.
Yeah, that was really spontaneous. We didn't know that there's going to be music like this and all that, and then they just went with it. So I was also, you can see in the pictures in the beginning I'm a bit like, and then after that I'm like, okay, nice.
I just watched it yesterday. I just loved it, and that's what, like, tell me about the city influencing the story. It almost becomes the fourth character.
Absolutely.
So tell us something.
I love city films. Like for me, my favorite Ray films are Pratidwandi, Mahanagar, so and Shimamondhu. So these films are really like, I always wanted to make a city film about my city.
Right.
Because I think in contemporary times I haven't seen all that much. Maybe earlier there used to be more films which you see Bombay, Mumbai, you know, more. But now you have a few like Lunchbox was there, which was very Mumbai related. There are films, it's not like there aren't, but I felt that I needed to like look at my city also through cinema, and that's why I said and also it's also the city I know best. So maybe next time I might go to Kolkata because it's another city I love, but there I'll always be an outsider.
The perspective would be, the lens would be different maybe.
I'll have to maybe stay there for a long time to really understand how to make a film there, which I'm happy to do because who doesn't want to go stay in Kolkata?
But be safe.
Yeah, true. That's very true.
And also, you know, like this particular movie, it's mostly shot at night. So this Bombay, the city at night, it's called the maximum city, of course. So how did you decide on that?
I was thinking, like, when we have jobs, then you go in the morning and you are there till evening in your office or in the hospital where you work. So you don't get to go out that much unless it's a weekend, or some people don't even get weekends. So when is your own time? It's evenings.
Yeah.
So that's why one character also says in the film that evenings are my favorite time of day.
Yeah.
Because evening is when you can go exploring, you can, you know, go eat some kebabs or you can eat pav bhaji or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the evenings for me are very special and it's the free time.
Right.
So I wanted to shoot a lot of the city. Also, I'm a big sucker for neon lights and
I just like, I know you might not agree, but I just remembered Wong Kar-wai movies.
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
You know, thank God.
It's the right ref.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like his city films. He's a city filmmaker only.
Yeah.
And then like him, there are many filmmakers who have explored their own cities.
Yeah.
And Wong Kar-wai is a huge influence to me.
You said neon lights, that's how I
And I was
maybe
thinking,
I just put it across.
No, you're right. And like when I was younger, I had the opportunity to go to Hong Kong once. So first thing I did, I said I want to go to Chungking Mansion. So anybody who's watching is a Wong Kar-wai fan, that you will know that Chungking Express is one of his most famous films. And there is a Chungking Mansion. When you go there, it's not that interesting. But the film made it like so amazing. So I was thinking about that also, like how.
And even the room of this woman, that train going, that just reminded me of
Yeah.
that's, and also the shared space, two people sharing the same space. So tell me, where did the story start from, and also the name?
So many questions. The story came from like I was in my final year in FTI, and it was 2018, and I was. There were two different medical situations that two of my family members were in, and I was spending a lot of time amongst nurses. And I began to think that some of the themes I wanted to talk about, which was women and work, could be tackled with characters who are nurses, especially because there is so much of the nursing profession that is about not showing your emotion, and inside what is going on you're not supposed to express, while you're seeing so much pain all around you. So that kind of contradiction for me felt like the right direction to go in. And film is a generational tale, and I grew up in a family of a lot of women with different generations. So like responding to different generations was a theme that I've been obsessed with. So that also was one of the things that is in the film. And lastly, I think as I grow older, I'm relying more and more on my girlfriends as a support system. So I wanted to kind of have a nod at that.
And also, you can, a film can be viewed in different aspects, and you can put a genre on it, whatever you want to. But it's also one of those travel movies. Like you usually see Dil Chahta Hai as three women traveling, and here three boys traveling. Now you have three women traveling in a very different space, in a very different
Context, yeah.
But at the end of the day, there is that freedom, that realization. So how do you see that, like, women traveling? Because
Yeah.
it's not, also in India, it's not a concept that we are very, like, frequently we find in movies or in real life.
That's such a nice question. I'm really glad you brought this up, because there is actually it's women and free time. That is what I was thinking about. That travel is part of that, but women and free time is something that is not explored. In fact, there's an Instagram page I really love called Women in Leisure, which I follow. So I hope that people will follow that as well, because it's really nice. It's like, we are not as women to have free time, to chill, to nap. It's like very can't do, or enjoy food like crabs, to eat with your hands and just go for it.
Yeah.
A lot of these things in our society, we are told it's not ladylike, it's not a woman to do this. You're not allowed to be taking an afternoon nap, you should be doing some work, something like that. So Women in Leisure is a page that I really was following, and I was thinking a lot about that, like what is leisure for people who live to earn and earn to live. And so this is a kind of a forced holiday they need to take, because they're dropping off a friend. And then that, because when we have jobs in different cities, when you get a holiday, you go home for pujo, you go home for the festivities, but you go home.
Yeah.
That is again different pressures, your time is taken a different way. So I wanted it to be a holiday, but not home. So this became like a way to talk about leisure, to talk about free time, and not be at home.
Right. And also, like when we talk about, this can also be viewed as a women's film, like many things it can be viewed as. So, but in India, like we are seeing a lot of female-oriented centric movies, but there you have, mostly when you project a strong woman, she is given masculine values, like either she will talk like a man, use those kind of words, or be very violent or very loud. But these are women in their space and just being that, like there was no agenda to make it like independent women, because these are independent women. So how do you see that, like in India, the context of independent women? Because when you have a woman having a job, you don't see them at their job as much. Like you can have a person with a profession, but that's not really shown on screen as much.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, the way you've put it makes a lot of sense. That it's we are kind of the representation becomes like a male representation quite often, and we do tend to fall into those tropes. For me, I was thinking a lot about like myself also. Like even if I call myself a feminist, I'm a bit of a messy feminist. Like I see myself making mistakes. I see myself saying, why did I respond like this about something? And there are a lot of there's a lot of work that I still need to do on myself. and I felt that the characters also are like that.
Right.
They're not perfect, even with their stance on issues or just rights about themselves or their friends. There is a little bit of
Right.
and that's human.
Yeah.
They are all works in progress, and so are they.
Right, they don't seem to have to be like, I'm doing it because I'm a woman, so I have to like.
Yeah,
make a-
they're just being.
Yeah, I just love that. Also, tell me something about like, does winning a Cannes help in the movie getting a release? And do you think it's something that's it's not a one-off thing. Do you think it can happen, or it is something that follows like the distribution and showcasing the film? Of course, we will know later on that how many people are actually
Yes.
going, but still, from your side,
I have to say yes, because of this, people were interested and knew about the film. So I had people approaching me from different distributions to distribute the film, which I think it would have been a little bit more difficult for me to find if I didn't have a kind of a foot in the festivals already. Because already a lot of press covered it.
right?
So people started hearing the buzz, they started being curious. So that definitely helped me. Like I don't know how it would have been otherwise, but that was a real like good thing. And besides India, the film will also release in over 50 countries. And at the festival is where people saw it. Different country distributors saw it and came and then picked the film.
Right.
So the platform helps.
It could have been the French nomination as well, official entry. So how does that work? Like, for two countries to have one film on their list,
They both finally didn't. So
but still, it's like both the countries thought of it as its own.
yeah. It's a fine line because the film is directed by an Indian person. So in that sense, actually, it should be Indian only, and that is what the French committee also told us.
Mhm.
So finally, the onus was on here to send it.
Right. So do you think that like when like this particular movie is also an Indian movie, RRR is also an Indian movie. Both are very different. So what do you think the perspective of Indian cinema is outside? Because this is not Bollywood at all, but it's totally Indian. Like how you see other countries presenting their movies.
Yeah.
It's not meant for maybe a foreign audience, Indians, but you can like that. So how do you see that though?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, most people were like, "Oh, we only know mostly Bollywood, or we know, other big commercial industries." Sometimes they don't know anything. They're like, everything is. They don't know that there are so many different languages, that there is so many different industries we have here. I have to give everybody some lecture on this all the time. So yeah, I think most common people are still a little surprised because if they get mostly films that are mainstream, then they don't know that something else exists. But there's a history of Indian cinema which people are aware of, whether it's Ghatak or Ray, or even now, the Film Foundation, the Federation, restoration is happening of Arvindan films.
Yeah.
Those have been in Cannes like last year.
Even the I think
Shana
Shana
Singhal.
Singhal.
Yeah. So I think there is that memory of that cinema as well, and nobody's not heard of Ray. Like he's the filmmaker who's traveled the most.
Yeah, but after that, we didn't have that. Like India has been making movies since time immemorial, but still, we can just talk about Ray. I think it's kind of sad in a way.
Very sad.
Like
Very sad.
we are making so many movies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is the last question. So what do you think? Like I was interviewing Nawaz. He said that Indian cinema, like when your movie came up in the conversation, he said that if
Sorry, Anurag Kashyap is there. Everybody knows.
yeah, yes. Nawaz said that if a person becomes mainstream, like because you're outside Bollywood, you can make this movie. So once a person gets into Bollywood, the whole trappings of commercial cinema makes the person go away from his or her own artistic self. So how do you see that, and what's the way forward for you?
That's true, but it's also true the other way, that if you need to find funding from the West, there is also the precarious position that are you catering too much to that gaze? And to be true to whether it's the Western gaze, the Indian gaze, the market gaze, all these things you have to acknowledge, and it could sway you anyway. I mean, filmmakers are very vulnerable people. We are very easily like, when galis come our way, we just want to crawl under the table and cry. So I think that's just the only way to do it, is that you surround yourself with producers and support system in your crew who are with you in your vision and keep reminding you that, hey, this is what you like.
Right. But Bollywood is the mainstream movies a thing that you want to ever try?
I want to try everything in my lifetime.
Right.
I'm all for like having, making films, but I like to have some amount of creative freedom and not be, making choices that are not coming from a real space, an honest space for me. And as long as I can try and continue to do that, or at least have the option to work towards
but
that.
do you think we are in a space like that?
We
Because
can.
Now you don't have a language barrier also.
We totally can. I really think this is the time.
I have taken more time that I was allotted.
It was fun
Thank you
talking to
so much.
Thank you.